because I always like to see where the consultants, and this is really consultant focused this morning, but where are you in your business and what do you want to know? Before I start just giving you a lot of my notes. You'll probably cap into my notes, but I want to ask 3 people to stand up and just ask me a question about where you are, what your one, if you knew this one thing, it would really benefit your business. Does a consultant have a question like that?
I can.
Yes.
I live in a very rural area, and trying to find women to access is a challenge. It's not like living in Denver. We live in Fort Morgan, but it's very rural out on the eastern plains.
Okay.
And we have a small community,
Okay.
and so trying to reach women is difficult.
Okay, so lead gathering.
Yes.
Okay, that was part of my notes, but that's excellent. Okay, somebody else? Yes.
I want to know how I can get the confidence to kind of reach out to women, because I'm always like, oh, I don't know if I want to ask her. Some confidence building, I guess.
Okay. So important. Personal confidence. Yes.
This is kind of a touch on hers as well. I'm very confident in the product, and I don't feel that I'm a shy person, but I feel that approaching the people about the product, I feel that I'm being pushy. If I get a no, or I'm like, okay, that's fine. I call them once, and if I, or text them or email them, if I don't get a reply, I'm very hesitant to try again.
Okay. Okay. If I don't answer your questions fully, let me know, okay? But I think I already have some of that, okay?
I have several friends that watch the change in my life and want that and say they're going to do that and listen to the opportunity and like my posts on Facebook and then don't do it. If they don't do that, then they don't sign up. How can I help them without being, come on, do it, you want to join me to build my team of followers?
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you telling them the facts about the business?
Yes.
And then they don't sign up because, do you ask them, well, let me address this one first, okay? Because we're going to kind of go backwards. Thank you. We're going to go a little bit backwards, but I believe that closing and everything that you do is huge. Having a time limit on when you're going to close. When I was a consultant, and then I'll start with the other things, but when I was a consultant, I was so excited and I was so high off the chart that I would just begin to tell people, oh my goodness, you'd be so great at Mary Kay. You just can't imagine how much fun it was. I mean, I went to seminar and there was this huge amount of women and Mary Kay hit the stage and people were screaming and then all these women were walking down the stage and they were getting these diamond rings and it was incredible. They were in their long gowns and oh my gosh, and the only people I appealed to was who?
The eyes.
The eyes. Everybody else was like, I would never want to walk on the stage. I don't like women. And so already I was telling them information that was turning them off. And I was just telling them I thought they would be good at it. I really wasn't giving them all the details, all the facts, and I certainly wasn't closing them. So what I had to do when that was not working is I had to say, what am I doing wrong? And my excitement was good. Enthusiasm will certainly sometimes win the day. But for some, it's a little bit more than enthusiasm. And so what I feel when you sit down to talk to a woman about the business, I wouldn't, and I don't know if you're doing this, but I wouldn't do it through a text message, a Facebook post, things like that. I would actually pick up the phone and have a conversation with her. And my format has been the same forever on mine. And I think someone's going to talk about the recruiting interview today. But my format has basically always been, tell me a little bit about you. I'm listening to see what is her personality type, what are the key factors. I'm not changing Mary Kay. I'm just focusing in on what her particular personality style would want to hear more of, okay? So I'm listening to see how can Mary Kay work in her life, how can it benefit her best, and then I tell her a little bit about me. So I'm going to give her a bigger picture of what Mary Kay has to offer. And then I'm going to ask her, what do you love about what you currently do right now? What do you not like about what you currently do? And in 5 years from now, if you continue to do the same thing, are you going to be okay with that? Or do we need to make a change? And then I say, now let me tell you about our company. And I give her some basic facts about the company, and then I give her the marketing plan layout. All right? So it's basically, and then I say to her, Amy, are you as excited to work with me as I am to work with you? And if she says yes, then I give her a paper agreement. I still do paper agreements, you guys. I've never stopped doing paper agreements. And we can do it over the computer, but that's a real commitment when they put that ink on paper. And so I give it to her right then, and if she says, well, I need to visit with my husband or whatever, then we have a specific set time. And I just say, can we agree? You know, Mary Kay always said within 24 hours after a woman had all the information that she could make an educated decision. So is it possible for us to set up a time 24 hours from now? How does your date book look on that? Can we set up that time and go ahead and get together? And if you tell me, you know what, I'd just rather stay a consultant or customer, I'm going to be thrilled because I need customers. And I'm going to love you anyway and be glad to serve you in that way. But if you tell me that you want to be a consultant, I'm going to do a happy dance because I know we're going to get to work side by side for as long as you're a part of the business, and I hope that's forever. But it doesn't have to be forever, okay? And so can we agree to a time? So you've got to have a deadline of when you're going, because here's what would happen to me. I wouldn't get a deadline, and then I would see these moms out at the soccer field, and I would say, well, did you think about it? Did you talk to your husband? Oh, Roxanne, I forgot. I forgot to talk to him about it, and so, you know. And then I would see her a couple of days. Did you talk to? And pretty soon what happened? I felt like a stalker. She felt like I was a stalker. Even though she's the one telling me, ask me again, it still set up a icky situation. And I just didn't ever want anyone to think of me that way. I was a professional, and just like every other profession in the world, you know, we had things that worked for us to do the right way. And the right way is to have a closing. Mm-hmm. Always have a closing. Okay, does that help? Does that answer your question?
I have one quick question.
Okay.
You said you still do paper agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that's more binding to people? Not legally, but do you feel they're more binding to that when they write it out?
I feel like there's more ownership there. If we're sitting there and they're going to have to go home and get on the computer and do that without me, say if they want to do it through the computer, they can. Or if we want to sit down at my desk, we can. Depends on where we are. But if it's a guest event especially, I feel like that gives them more ownership. They're more committed because they put that on paper. That's just a personal thing for me. It's not saying that's the way you have to do it, just personal thing. Okay. So those were great questions. I wanted to talk about that because I didn't want to really kind of forget some thoughts I had the minute you said that. So let me back up and say this class is about personal responsibility. It's about knowing where you're going and knowing the activity that it takes to get there. And then, you know, being skilled. And I always tell consultants and directors, you know, it's really 1% skill and 99% attitude. Mm-hmm. It really is. The skill is easy to slide into place, you guys. I know as a new consultant, when I got excited about everything, I went home and I had ghost classes to put my skill into place. You know what that is? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I would stand at the head of my table and I had a mirror down there where I could smile and nod like I had been taught, and doesn't that feel good? You know, and I did. And my dogs were very educated in the ways of skincare. But you know, practice your skill. Practice your skill until you're confident of your skill. Now, that's not to say practice and then go start. You know, practice in the process. I practiced even after I've been having parties. I was still practicing. If I left a party and I thought, oh, I forgot to say this, you know, then I would go and I would practice that again. But you know what? Next time I didn't forget it. And the main thing is just jumping in and doing something, because if you sit too long, fear begins to set in around that. So just jump in and know that you don't have to know it all. You don't have to know everything before you start. You want to be professional and you want to be a businesswoman, but at the same time, you don't have to know it all. I know that I have some consultants that are completely frozen until they know every single product line and the products. But you can't. I don't even know everything about every product in the product line. You know, you'll have a presentation around the skincare party of the products that we're going to focus on at that party, and you can know a few features and benefits of those, enough to make you look like you know what you're doing. We used to have, do you remember when we had the consultant guidebook? It was a big, thick consultant guidebook. And it went everywhere with me because the products were in that, and it went everywhere with me. And if they asked me a question that I didn't know, I'd say, you know what? I don't know, but I can find out. Let me open up this book. Well, now you can have your iPad right there. And you can totally, open it up to that product page. If they ask you something you don't know, say, don't be afraid to say, I don't know the answer to that. I would much rather have someone tell me, I don't know the answer to that, but you know what, I'll find out, than have somebody tell me something they really didn't know. So, okay. The thing with Mary Kay that I want you to understand too, the part of consultants always tell me, well, when I get motivated, I'm going to get started. Have y'all ever said that? Directors, have you ever heard your consultant say that? When I get motivated, I'll get started. Well, the problem with what we do is you have to get started before you get motivated. I mean, it's just completely backwards. I'm sorry. But let's be big about this and just know that the process is you get started and then you get motivated. Because motivation comes from the success that you're having, experiencing. That's where the motivation comes from. And so discipline is the key in the beginning. To take personal responsibility and to exercise discipline over yourself to get yourself started. Now, one person brought up, and I don't remember who it was, the lead gathering. I think it was over here. Yes, you. Okay, so Amy and I were talking about this just last night, I believe, and I said the one thing when I travel around and with my consultants as well, the number one thing is lead gathering. And so I believe this is a skill you must own because if your books are empty, you're out of business. So you must have a lead gathering source, and there can be many different ways. One of the things that Mickey Ivy taught us, and this would be great for you living in a rural community, in any community, is take a map out. Lay the map down, put a dot where you are, take one of those little, whatever they're called, protractors, I think, and spin it around into a radius of how far are you willing to drive to build your business. Now, for me, I was willing to pretty much go just about anywhere. I'm just going to tell you. That's how dedicated and determined that I was to build this business. And I didn't need a lot of exterior motivation. In fact, I had to tell people, back off, don't push me, because I'm all I need. I can push myself quite well, thank you. Because I just was excited when I saw the concept of what was going on. I was excited. It didn't bother me to drive 2 hours to do a party. So, how willing are you to get out there? I don't know how far it would be for you to go in your rural community, but I know this is a good rule of thumb. And usually in rural communities, guys, those are gold mines because there are no fabulous stores right there. And so I've always loved rural communities because they want a premier cosmetic, and they're not getting it where they are. So guess what? You are the premier. And so get excited about being in the middle of nowhere. And I live in a community right now, really, because I live in a community right now that's like that. But there are women there that want a premier cosmetic, and I'm it. So lead gathering from that perspective. That would be one way to decide. And then what you do is you call people in those towns. What I did once I decided, who did I know in these towns? Let me back up. I started with, my mom had already had all the family and all the friends when I started my business. So I never had the luxury of that. But at the same time, I think it was a benefit to me because what happens so much as a consultant, does all of her friends and all of her families, and then all of a sudden there's a stop. And for me, that wasn't a luxury. So I had to learn right away how to warm chat, or whatever you want to call it. And I never called it that really forever. I just called it when I was out and about doing my life, I talked to people. Mary Kay taught us that if they're within 3 feet of you and they've got skin and they're breathing, talk to them. That's what she would say. And so that's what I did. But I started with room mothers because I had children in school. So I started with the room mothers. I started with the mothers of the children that my kids went to school with, their teachers. The bankers, I don't do drive-through. I still don't do drive-through. I get out, I go in because, you know what? There's gold inside those banks and inside those dry cleaners and inside everywhere. I mean, seriously. So if you're driving through, you're missing out on the people that are inside there that you should be talking to, because I always felt if I'm doing business with you, you should be doing business with me, or I'm going to go find somebody else to do business with. That's just how I felt. And so that was one way. Another way was, and then when I identified what town I was going to work in, I talked to people that I knew. Who do you know? I had a notebook, I had a spiral that had Hobbs, New Mexico, that had Midland, Texas. And I would say, Amy, if this was a friend, a family member, a customer, and I would say, Amy, I'm really looking to build in Midland, Texas. Do you know any sharp women that live there? Do you have any family members, any friends? And I would identify people that I wanted somebody sharp like Amy. So that's the people that I asked, who do you know in these communities? And that's how I developed a network of people outside of the community that I lived in. Because I would go and ask the sharp women in my life. Could be a customer. If I had developed a customer, who do you know in these places? These are the places I'm working. When I was at a party, and I would say, I'm working in Midland. Does anybody know anybody in Midland? You know, I'm working in these areas, these pockets. And then on the back of the profile, I've always taken names from the party. I was going to tell you, there was a story about one of my directors. Haley Payne is her name. And Haley came into my business, and she was just a young, about 23 years old, rodeo girl. She rode barrels in the rodeo. And very, very ambitious young woman. And she came into the business, and right after she signed up, I went on the trip to Greece. When I came back, her inventory had come in. And the story with her, I'll tell you how I got her. I was an executive senior. I was fixing to take the top trip to Greece, and we did a customer appreciation in a retail store that I shop in, a bling store. And I said, I just need 2 mornings, 2 hours, 2 mornings to come in and just meet some of your clients, because it was a clientele that I wanted. Remember, be wise. Don't go to some store that you don't want that clientele. Go where you want the clientele. So I worked 2 mornings, 2 hours each morning. I got 1 good lead. Are you hearing me? Sometimes it's 1 good lead. The rest of them just weren't interested or whatever. Well, that 1 good lead, I knew she was a goodie. And so I called her 7 times. She rescheduled an appointment with me. That was somebody else's question about times. 7 times she rescheduled. And finally, I said, look, Haley, I think you're really cute. I think you'd be great at doing what I do. You know I want to talk to you about that, but I want to put the product on you first. But frankly, I'm not sure if you're really interested. Are you just pulling my leg, or do you really want to get together? And she said, I really do. It's just this and that and this. And I said, well, tell me this. What time of day could you get together with me where we would not have these conflicts happen? And she said, 7 in the morning. And I said, great. I'll have the coffee on, come over at 7 in the morning, and let's do this thing. The very next morning, she came over. She had the facial at 7 o'clock. She bought all the whole products. She walked into the office to pick up her product. She goes, I want a room like this. How do I do this? She came in with a full store that morning. That morning. One thing came great out of that. Well, so then Haley was just one of these people that she was always saying, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more, give me more. Kind of feel like you. you know, like you, Angela. And she was just that kind of person. And so I was at a leadership conference in San Diego, and I said, I was sitting there, and I heard from the stage, 100 faces in 40 days will be a quantum leap in your business, and you will go on target for your car. Okay, y'all hearing me? Because this is a challenge. It could be a challenge. It could even be a challenge for directors. 100 faces in 40 days, and you will go on target for your car. So I called Haley. It's mid-January, and I said, Haley, I heard this from the stage at San Diego, and she said, I'm in. I'll do it. Can I count the parties I've already had? I said, sure. This month. I said, sure you can. So she completed her 100 faces in 40 days. She was on target for her car. I can't remember the number of what she sold. I want to say it was like $4,000 that she personally had sold. If my memory serves me well, that's what it was. And she had 500 leads. Well, we didn't count them, but we knew she had at least 500 because everybody at the party, and her goal was to have 6 people at a party. And so 5 people, at that time there was only 5 spaces on the back of the profile, but they all gave her 5 names. So 500 faces she had a book like this of leads. Well, she was so excited from that, and she had so many leads from that, she did it again. In the next 40 days, she had become a director with Mary Kay. We're talking gone from 0 to earning a car to a sales director. She went on to Target for being a sales director, and then by June, she was a sales director with an offspring in a Cadillac. She was in a Cadillac and had an offspring. She did 200 faces in 40 days, and then a half of one. And you guys, she had so many leads, she was giving leads away. So at the party is the absolute best place to have lead source gathering. And there's now 7 spaces on the back of that profile. So the thing that I do is I say, while your mask is drying on your lips, I'm going to give you back your profile, and I want you to put 7 women on the back of that profile that you would love to see pampered or that needs a makeover. And I'm not going to tell them you said that. Or, just 7 of your sharp. I want your sharpest friends on that list. And I always ask for the sharpest friends, you guys, or family, whatever. Okay? So lead gathering really is the best around that party. But there's lots and lots of ways. We do restaurant appreciations. We do fabulous store appreciations. There's lots of ways to gather leads, but you must become a master. And the thing is that what I think when I'm out and about is that woman that I'm looking at is wearing some type of cosmetic. I'm not asking her to create more budget. I'm asking her for that part of the budget that she's already spending. See, we got to check our thinking. Because sometimes with some things out there, like a vitamin, and I'm not criticizing any other direct selling company or anybody else. I'm just saying there are things out there that are not necessities. Cosmetics are a necessity. Think how we would all look this morning if we didn't have our cosmetics. We know, don't we? We do. It's not pretty. So, cosmetics are a necessity. And so you have to know that you represent the number 1. Be excited about that. Be excited about that. I was sitting next to a lady yesterday on the plane, and she represented another cosmetic company, but she said, you know what? I hear the best things about your company. For years and years and years, you guys have an incredible reputation. It precedes you. And so be excited that you never have to apologize for the company that you represent. Isn't that fabulous? So get excited about lead gathering. The other thing that I used to do, this was my only booking script I ever used. It's still the booking script I use today. And that is, you look fabulous in the cosmetics that you're wearing. I know that if you look that good in yours, you'll look even better in mine. And I'm looking for a woman in leopard shoes today because I do a model portfolio before and after book, and I would love to put you in that section. Okay, that's it. Easy. That was the only script I ever used. So if she had twins, I had a twin section. If she was carrying a red briefcase, I had a red briefcase section. I had a nurses section. I had a teachers section. I had a single mom section. I had a mom with a husband section. I'm not kidding. I had a silver fox section, and that was the women with the silver hair. I had a black, bold, and beautiful section. So, and the portfolio books, you guys, I had books and books and books of portfolios, and the best starts with my consultants out of the gate are the ones that do the before and after portfolio. And have a goal of how many you want to have in X amount of time.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I wish you would issue a challenge for real about the 100 faces, because I just counted it, and 40 days is Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
And
that just gave me chills.
I know, like exactly. And Marie is finishing her unit before Thanksgiving, and she decided to call it a turkey wrap. And that's how she's finishing her unit.
Yeah.
And so we could all do a turkey wrap of 100 faces.
I love that. Okay, so
issue
I'm
it.
officially challenging. How many of you would be, let me ask you this way. Let me just break it down this way. How many of you can do something intense for a short amount of time?
You have to.
If you knew the results would be there.
Absolutely.
We can all do that, can't we? I mean, like if I'm going to diet, I know that, okay, I can do this for a month or whatever. 2 weeks. A day. Okay, let's get real. But you know what I'm saying. It is the same thing. 40 days. Isn't that how long Jesus fasted?
Yes.
40 days. So what if you went on a face fast? You could call it a face fast.
And then you feast on Thanksgiving.
And then you feast. Look how creative we are. We're so good. Thank you, Lord. So that is exciting. And I can't wait to hear the results, because you know what? If you guys did that, how many cars would be represented by your face fast? Okay, stand up if you are in for the 100 faces in 40 days. Yes. Wow. Okay, Amy, are you prepared?
I'm prepared. I'm born ready.
Born ready. I love that. I love that. Okay, because you're yes. Oh, the booking script. Okay, and I don't know, is somebody teaching on a booking script? I don't want to take the booking script.
Go, run the set.
Okay. I would say you look fabulous in the cosmetics that you're wearing. I would love to introduce you to mine. If you look that great in what you're wearing, you're going to look even better in mine. And I'm looking for a woman to, by the way, in leopard shoes for my before and after face portfolio book. And book them every time, you guys. And here's another key. Book it on the spot. Don't be the follow-up queen. I mean, be the follow-up queen if you have to be, but I'm horrible at follow-up. I had sticky notes everywhere that stuck to other sticky notes, that stuck to whatever that got out of the box, you know what I'm saying. And so just make your business simple. And if you book right on the spot, I was always better in person anyway than I am on the phone. Much better, because it's really relationship building. And you can build a better relationship, eyeball to eyeball, voice to voice. You can read their expressions. You know what they're thinking. And when you leave and you call them, a couple of things happen. They forget how cute you were and how much they liked you in that moment. They do. And the other thing that can happen, you might call them at a bad time. They might be having an argument with their husband. They might be in the middle of something with a child. And so instead of them saying, you know, this isn't a good time, call me later, they might just say, no, I'm not interested. Because in that moment, it's not important. So the more that you can do right in the moment, the better. So book everything in the moment, if you can. One other thing that we do lots of booths. In Dublin, when my little daughter-in-law moved there, neither one of us knew anybody, and so she started doing community booths, around the community, like fall festivals or whatever type of booths they had. That's another lead gathering source. But I do believe lead gathering is the key. Booking script, we talked about that. Working it full circle. I want to talk about that because I'm passionate about going back to the basics and working smart, you guys. Mary Kay, this is so simple. It's not easy because we're dealing with people, and people are not always easy. But it is very simple. And there is a procedure that we should follow. The procedure is you book it, and then you coach it. And Mary Kay used to say, if you're not going to coach it, don't bother to book it because it won't hold. So you must coach your hostess. Coaching, that word used to scare me. But coaching your hostess is just finding out what does she want and making a way for her to have it and explaining to her how she can have it. We don't need to go into my hostess program because you probably have a hostess program that you guys do here. But just understand that making her know how she can have the products that she wants is the key with her. And letting her know we're business partners now. So as business partners, I want you to fully understand what you're going to win and how you're going to win it. And here's my hostess program. Lay it out. Then you tell her, don't let me forget to tell you about a waiting list too. But you tell her that you're going to call her within 24 to 48 hours. I'm going to call you, Alyssa, within 24 to 48 hours to get your guest list. Is that enough time for you to communicate to the people that you want to be at the party in the form that they will receive it best? Text, email, postcard, phone call, whatever that looks like to who you're going to invite on your guest list. Invite them in the way that they will receive it the best, Facebook, right, whatever that is, okay? Then I want their phone number because I'm going to personally call them. And I'm going to call them. I'm going to need that list within 24 to 48 hours. Why 24 to 48? Because if you give her till 3 days before her party or 2 days before her party, guess when she's going to invite them? Right before that. Or not. How many of you have ever shown up and nobody's been at the party? Do you know why?
I've shown up and they didn't answer the door.
She never invited them. 90% of the time, I'm just telling you, she did not invite the people.
Right.
And she didn't want to tell you she didn't invite the people, so I'm telling you for her. She did not invite the people. I'm just going to tell you what happened. Okay. So, pre-profiling, I am passionate about this. And I tell people, I do not move out of my driveway until you give me a list. I tell them that. I will not leave my driveway until I have a list and I've called everybody on your list. Because I know you think your friends are going to come, but things are going to happen, and I want to help you make sure that these people are coming. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call them, and I'm just going to ask them a couple of questions about their skin. And so when I call them, the conversation goes like this. Melissa, hi, this is Roxanne McInroe, and you don't know me, but Amy Gamboyan is having a party, and you've been invited. Are you excited about being on her guest list? You should be, girl. I love Amy. She's fun. And you know what? I know because she's fun, so are you. Do you have just a couple of minutes where I can ask you some questions? Okay. First question I want to know, Melissa, are you coming alone or bringing a friend?
Bring a friend.
Bringing a friend. Super. Let me tell you what I do for people that bring a friend. You get a free eyeshadow of your choice.
I bring two.
You can, you know, if you bring two, you can either get 2 eyeshadows or a lip gloss. Either one. Would you love that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you in just a minute, who are your friends that you're bringing? So I'm going to go ahead and ask you now, who are your friends you're bringing?
Coworkers.
Co-workers? Okay, can I have their names? Because I'm also going to need their names and numbers because we reserve seats. And I want to make sure that I have enough seats for them. And I'm also going to ask you a little bit about your skin, and I'm going to ask them as well. Okay? All right, so we've got their names and numbers. Great. Now, let me ask you, are you combination woolly or are you normal to dry?
Normal to dry.
Normal to dry, perfect. Do you like cool, warm, or neutral colors?
Neutral.
Neutral colors, perfect. because I'm going to have these little color cards set up on your tray. May not be the best that you're going to love. However, it's going to be in neutral tones, and you're going to love that about it. And we have a full line of colors, so we can change later if you want to, okay? But I'm going to have that ready for you. Okay. And the last questions I have for you, Melissa, is there any one thing in particular that you would love to ask about your skin? Anything in particular that you have a concern about or that you would love for me to address?
Pore size.
Pore size. Perfect. I have a product that's going to rock your world. So what we're going to do is at the party, we're going to have a little individual session at the end, and I'm going to address that with you because I'm not going to bring that out to everybody, but I'm going to address it to you. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Oh, Melissa, you are so fun over the phone. I cannot wait to meet you. And you know what? I'm going to call Amy, and I'm going to tell her you're excited about coming and that you're bringing 2 friends. She is going to be so fun. Okay, I'll see you at the party. Okay? I do that with every single person, exactly like that. Then I do what I call cross-confirmation with the hostess. And I call Amy and I say, oh my goodness, Amy, I am so fired up. Girlfriend, you are going to get all of those things on the hostess packet that we talked about. Because I just talked to Melissa. And Melissa, let me tell you, she's excited. She's bringing 2 friends. And she's excited about hearing about a product about pore size. And she really, she doesn't know where else to ask, so she's asking that. And so she's excited and she's coming. And I tell her about every single person that I've talked to, what they're excited about, if they're bringing a friend, not bringing a friend. Is this hostess going to cancel? No way. No way. So how many of you would rather have 3 solid bookings that maybe takes you 2 hours per party before to have it stick on the books than have 10 that don't show? I mean, I will have to say as a consultant sometimes I would pray that my parties would cancel. Is that stupid? I would be like, golly, I hope they canceled tonight because I really don't feel like getting up going out there. But the minute I got in front of the people, I was excited to be there, right? So I'm just saying, do the work on the front end so that when you get there, you've got a party that's excited to be there. And you've already started a relationship with her. And did you hear me say, are you coming alone or bringing a friend? I did not ask her, are you coming? Yes?
What if you don't get a hold of them on that first call? How do you keep following up and how many times?
I don't leave a message,
Okay.
the first time. And if I call them back again and I still don't get a hold of them, then I will say, what's your name?
Nikki?
Pardon me?
Nikki?
Nikki. I would say, Nikki, this is Roxanne McInroe, and I have a question for you. Could you give me a call back? Don't tell her who I am. Curiosity killed the cat, and she will call you. She will. We're curious, aren't we, as women? I'm like, Roxanne McInroe, and she wants to ask me questions. Who in the world? Okay, I got to call her. So, there you go. Okay? And your success, you guys, is determined between the distance of skincare parties. Because remember that song that we sang in Vacation Bible School? The foolish man builds his house upon the sand, and the wise man builds his house upon the rock. Well, the rock in Mary Kay Cosmetics is your product and your parties. And at any time throughout the process of building, even up to me becoming a national sales director, in the very last part of building that, I had to pick up my showcases and do some parties to find the people that I needed to finish the national area. What if I didn't have that skill? So get this skill down. It's booking, it's coaching, it's pre-profiling, it's cross-confirmation, it's having a strong opening statement in your skincare party, giving a little bit of information but not all the information on our fabulous business. And you can do that through your iStory. And then having, the guts of the class, really, that doesn't matter. You guys, put it on, take it off, doesn't it? The product feels good. The product sells itself. They look better when they leave, don't they? Mine do. I mean, they just look better. And then have a strong table close where you let them know how to buy in sets and how much it's going to be. Because this was a big lesson for me. when Tyson was a senior, I'm not much of a TV person. Never have been. Just don't really care for TV. And I always thought, such a waste of time to watch somebody else pretending to live this life. They're not even living that life, and I'm sitting here living that life. It's just crazy to me. So I couldn't do it. And so anyway, when Tyson was in high school, and he was getting to where he wasn't spending much time with me, it was really hurting my feelings because one of my love languages is time together. And so I said, Tyson, it's really hurting my feelings that you're busy all the time. How could we have it where you're home with me at least just one night a week? And he said, Mom, if you would buy a TV, I would stay home and watch TV with you. And I said, okay. So I go to the store, and I tell the guy, I said, okay, I want a TV. And he says, well, what kind do you want? Do you want a plasma, HD, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I said, oh, I don't know, about this big. That's how big my space is. And he said, okay, well, let me show you some things. And so he showed me all these, things about these TVs. And I was like, by the time he finished, he showed me like 10 TVs, and I was totally confused. And so I left the store. I didn't buy a TV. And so then I thought, well, the next day maybe there'll be somebody very simple there that I can talk to. So I went back the next day, and I said the same thing to the guy, and he said the same thing to me. They'd been trained by the same person, obviously, because the same process started. And so I left again. So I called my nephew, who's really sharp, and I said, Ross, if I give you the money, will you go buy me a TV? So I'm telling you, don't confuse the women. Make it simple. Give them 3 sets, maybe 4, and tell them exactly how much it is. And keep it simple and relevant to what they just used. Okay, so that's key. And then your individual clothes. And the individual clothes is where you sell in sets first. You address her concerns that she has on her profile. So, in other words, I'm going to say, what's your name?
Amber.
I'm going to say, Amber, I am so excited for you. You look fabulous, by the way. What's your favorite part?
I love skincare.
The skincare. Okay, great. Well, so are you taking it all home? Are you taking the Ultimate Miracle?
Yes.
Is that what you're taking today? Oh, perfect.
Of course I am.
Wonderful. Okay, super. And what about the colors you have on today? Did you want to take those home? Because, that's the Cadillac bag.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And so we'll add that on. And you know what? I'm going to look at your profile. You know what you said? The satin lips is not in this set, but you talked about on your profile having a problem with dry, chapped lips. Do you want to go ahead and add that in? She's so easy.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to say
so
no?
No, that's good. But when she does, you
Don't
keep
want
selling till she says no. You keep selling till she says no. Then when she says no, in Texas we call it calf rope. When she says calf rope, then you stop selling. Okay? When she's done, then you write down her form of payment, whatever that is. You get the form of payment. You stick it inside your purse. This is important. You stick it inside your purse. Now that's no longer hers. It's yours. Then you talk about the party and booking the party. Here's what I know. We were finishing up national. I had a director that was qualifying to be a director, and she kept saying, I've done 50 faces, and I've done this, and I've done that. And her results weren't showing it. And I thought, either she's not telling me the truth, or there is something wrong in what she's doing. So I went in, I said, I'm coming in. I said, book 5 parties that day, between those 2 days that I'm going to be there. I want to see 5 of your parties, because I'm going to tell you what's going on. The very first party, she stands up at the front of the table, and she talks to them about her hostess program and how they can take free product home with them if they want to host a party. What do you think they're doing? Nobody's buying anything. And at the end of the day, if they don't hold the parties, guess what? She's just wasted her time at that party, and now she doesn't have a party that's showing in the future. So you sell first, you put it away, then you talk about your booking another party. You use the names on the back of the sheet that she's given you as her party. And then after you've done that, then you say, you know what, Amy? Everybody at the party today said you were the new beauty consultant. How does that make you feel?
Wow, I can't believe they said that.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I think it's true. I mean, you're absolutely gorgeous and you're sharp, and everybody just kind of gathers around. You're the person they gather around. So that's exciting. And I think they're right. I don't know if it's anything you would ever want to do, Amy. Doesn't matter. But you seem to me like a very open person who would be open to hearing information. I would love to share the information with you tonight after the party or tomorrow morning for coffee. Which is better for you?
My day's busy tomorrow. After would be good.
Perfect. Okay, now that's her. I'm looking for 2. So, what's your first name? Stephanie. I'm going to say Stephanie. I know everybody picked Amy at the party to talk to her about the beauty consultant, and I'm going to do that. But you know what? I picked you. I don't know. There was something about our connection across the table. I could see it in your eyes that you were following me, and I just really love the spirit of who you are. And I don't know if Mary Kay would ever be anything you would ever want to do, but I believe that you're open enough to listen to information. Could we talk tonight or in the morning?
In the morning, I'm kind of tired.
Okay. I'm not asking her if she wants to. I'm asking her when. Do you see the difference? And that's your full circle party. How much time do I have? Am I done? 2 minutes. Wrapping up. One more lead gathering thing. If you are stuck and you don't know where to go, I want you to sit down and pretend you're getting married. And who is on your wedding list? Who is on your wedding list? Because I'm not believing that if you were getting married tomorrow, you would not have a person to invite. I'm believing that you would have more than enough. So, in wrapping up, see what I didn't do. Okay, in wrapping up, I want to say a couple of things. One, and it goes along with what Amy was saying this morning at some part in the end when I was here, and that is that it takes skill to play. One year we had on the back of our retreat shirts, it takes skill to play, but it takes heart to win. Skill to play, heart to win. You guys, there are going to be discouragements. There are going to be learning curves and disappointments. But I'm telling you, remember, when I stood on top of those cliffs of Moore with my 2 sons on either side and my father, my 89-year-old father right down there, and we built a memory. It started on the rock of my Mary Kay business, which was the parties and the sales. That's where it all started. And all those disappointments along the way completely vanished in that moment. This is where it starts. Get your skills, do the activity, know your numbers, talk to your director about what are the numbers for what I want. I want to be a red jacket. How many parties do I need to do in a condensed amount of time to become a red jacket? They can tell you down to the party how many parties you have to do to become a red jacket. Does that excite you? And of course you're all going to be on target for your car because you're all doing 100 fast. All right. Thank you so much.